I have been a fan of NASCAR for literally as far back as I can remember. This had to have started when I was a baby because I can't pinpoint when it started. I spent a lot of evenings as a kid going to friends' houses to watch NASCAR just because my house didn't have cable. Needless to say, I missed a lot of the races during the golden 2000s era, but regardless, I was still hooked. One track I always loved was Talladega, Daytona's edgier sister. Bigger, wider, and faster, and somehow more chaotic. Home of pack racing, the big one, and despite it being the reason for the invention of the restrictor plate, it still managed to see unbelievable breakneck speeds. Another favorite in NASCAR of mine was my childhood favorite driver, Jeff Gordon. One of the greatest stock car drivers to ever live and is on the same levels as Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt. And while he's not the one who wins this race I'm about to talk about, he would be the sole reason I got to go to it in the first place. This is what transformed my love of NASCAR from a following of a sport into a hobby. This was the first of the now 7 live races I have been to and is arguably my favorite one. This is the 2015 GEICO 500 at Talladega Superspeedway.
The Talladega boys race the whiskey in gold glass. Here's to turning up or slowing down in cars that go real fast. We were laughing and living, drinking and wishing and thinking as that checkered flag was waving. Sure would like to stay in Talladega.
Reach up there and pull those belts tight because I am about to get nostalgic. Now I have to admit, coming into 2015, I had somewhat fell out of NASCAR. I still kinda kept up with it, but at this point I hadn't watched a race since Carl Edwards won at Phoenix in 2013. I had started to move on to new stuff. I just turned 15 and started dipping my toes into music, and that was kind of the big thing at the moment. But in 2014, Jeff Gordon, my favorite race car driver of all time, announced that he would be retiring from full-time racing at the end of the 2015 season. I was shook. I hadn't watched NASCAR in so long that I was completely oblivious that Jeff Gordon was even in the notion of retirement. And my mom knew this. Now, my mom up to that point didn't care enough about NASCAR that she would keep up with the news and the races and stuff. But bless her heart, when she saw that Jeff Gordon was retiring, she knew that I would be shocked by it. Say what you want, but moms know best. So her and my eventual stepdad started talking. I had always wanted to go to a race in person. Any track. It didn't matter. Even when I was kinda out the door on NASCAR, I still wanted to go. So they gave me a choice. A list of tracks so I could go see a NASCAR race and watch my favorite driver turn laps in person before his retirement. And of course, I picked Talladega. To say I was excited would be a massive understatement. I get to see the only sport I've ever followed in person and at, in my opinion, their best venue. I thought I knew a lot about NASCAR then. Little did I know how this single race would change everything. In retrospect, we all should have known this race was going to be a banger. I mean, first of all, it's Talladega, the biggest and fastest track on the NASCAR circuit. The weather was absolutely flawless. Mildly hot and not a single cloud for miles all weekend. Absolutely 0% chance of rain. Perfect for a spring race in Alabama. The Gen 6 car is in its junior year and is held in high regard up to this point. This was before they decreased the horsepower to 550 and before they went crazy with the packages. So that means pack racing, constant lead changes, and allowed fast cars. The stands were packed full. Me and my mom are on the tri-oval in front of the start-finish line. My stepdad and sister are present, but they're on the opposite side where the pit road entrance is thanks to all the seats being sold. And here's me, Baby-faced, unbearded 15-year-old me in a 2008 Jeff Gordon t-shirt I got from Goodwill a few days prior. I sat down in my seat, and that's when it hit me. For the first time in my life, I was surrounded by people who were just as passionate about cars turning left as I was. Now, we've got quite the stacked field here. 43 cars, in fact, which NASCAR doesn't do anymore. Jeff Gordon starts on the pole and is one of the favorites to win today. Meanwhile, there's Dale Jr., who has a slew of superspeedway wins and is also a favorite to win by default. Also, Kyle Busch isn't present thanks to his wreck at Daytona in the Xfinity Series, so Eric Jones has taken his place. Bobby Labonte, another favorite of mine, makes his return to the Cup Series, and he's driving the 32 car before Corey LaJoie would. Some guy named Alex Bowman is here in the 7 car. JJ Yeley is here, and Michael Waltrip, a one-time winner at Talladega, is here too. Now this predates stage racing, so it's non-stop until a yellow comes out or the checkered flag flies. And thanks to pack racing, as Mike Joy put it, if your engine will crank, then you've got a shot at winning it. But of course, words can't really describe how good this race was. So, I have decided to show you.
A lot of race has been won and lost from where the cars are now to where the start-finish line is. Green flags in the air. Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, boys!
Right now, we have 3 wide, about 8 rows deep. In fact, we have about 28, 29 drivers within a second of each other. Now, you're riding with Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88. He hooked up with his Chevrolet teammates of Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson, the 24 and the 48. They pushed him out front, and then he dove in front of Tony Stewart in the 14 car to take the lead.
Last week, they wrecked together.
Yeah.
At Richmond.
They were running into each other last week. Today, they're helping each other, and that's kind of what I say about competition. You put last week behind you and work on today.
So Dale Earnhardt Jr. up and down the elevator in the early going here. Let's get out to Jamie Little for the nationwide Dale Jr. Performance Report.
Yes, he has been up and down. Started 4th, went all the way to the front, led 4 laps. And on that last stop, all he said about his car was it gets better as we run. They made a wedge adjustment and they took right sides. But Dale Jr. moving around, thought he'd get some help. And as you saw, dropped like a rock, hoping to get some better help here. Still running in the middle, 3 wide.
Jeff Gordon leads lap 46 at Talladega. The last time he led this many laps here was spring 2007. When Jeff led 71 laps, winning from the pole, which is where he started today.
And trouble back straight away, guys. Car around.
Trevor Bayne.
A number of cars
and
involved.
more. Logano is in it.
Crashing all. Oh, man. Look at that.
Looked like half the field piled up on lap 47. Under caution, pit road is open. Vince.
And the 20 of Matt Kenseth pitting from 3rd place says the front end is feeling too twitchy. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment. 4-tire change for the 20. Jamie?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. so far so good, running 4th right now. A 4-tire stop. They'll fill him up with fuel. Let's go to Matt.
Jamie McMurray, the 1 car on the left side of your screen, they're going to go 4 tires on this stop like they did their first stop. Meanwhile, Jeff Gordon, he took rights the first stop, 4 tires all the way around for the leader, the 24 Gordon.
Top lane's trying to work, 3 back, still inside. 5 still up. 27 up top, 5 to the middle's going to be closer, 24 is cleared up in the middle, make that 24 push you here. 24 is your help. There you go. The 19's making it 3 wide with the 41, you got the 20 with you. Caution, behind you, caution. Save gas, caution.
And we were just about to get into some green flag pit stops within the next lap or 2.
And time now for the Fox NASCAR mid-race report. We're going 500 miles live from Talladega, Alabama. Pole sitter Jeff Gordon led at the 100-mile mark. His teammate Jimmy Johnson led at the 200-mile mark and has led the most laps in the first half of this race. On lap 47, a 15-car wreck knocked out Trevor Bayne and Kyle Larson from the race. Darrell Waltrip, who are you watching?
My man Dale Jr. hadn't won here in over 10 years, but today he's going to shake, rattle, and roll that 88 into victory circle.
As Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson lead Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Brad Keselowski, Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth, and more.
Boy, Junior's up there pushing like crazy on that 24 car, shooting him out front.
Well, I think our crowd will let us know who's up there battling for the lead right now. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 88 trying to lead this lap, beat his teammate Jimmy Johnson.
And here comes Hamlin to the bottom.
While Jimmy Johnson was worried about Dale Jr., Hamlin took advantage of Jimmy Johnson and got the inside, and bye-bye, Jimmy.
Denny Hamlin timed that perfectly. He waited right until Earnhardt got side by side with Johnson, sliced to the bottom, diced up the field behind him.
That was a great move.
Earnhardt coming back on the outside with Gordon now the inside line. Well, somebody makes a big move like Hamlin did to take the lead, and everyone sees opportunity. Do I go high? Do I go low? I've got to go somewhere.
But Darrell, we were talking about Kevin Harvick in that 4 car. I mean, look at him though, 3 wide, 3 wide, 3 wide, 3 wide, all the way back through there. It seems like he can get up there and he can run 2nd to 5th, but can he get up there and lead with all that damage on that nose?
Just like early in the race, 23 cars are within 1 second of the leader.
This is an amazing pack of cars, and trust me, if they weren't belted in their seats, they'd be sitting on the edge of their seats.
And back to the bottom with the 4.
There you go.
And this is what he does best.
And the 4 could clear him there. 4 could clear him, so the 41's going to be gaining on you off the corner here in the middle of the track, that red car.
Man, that's good information.
All right, 4 is way back on the bottom. 41's clear, so watch your mirror there. He is clear in your mirror, so keep your eye on him. He is clear.
But you know, it never fails at Talladega. You can feel things start to build a little bit. You can feel drivers starting to push it a little bit harder, taking a few more chances. Because folks, we don't have very many laps to go.
Is that why we're 3 wide, 8 rows deep right now?
Exactly. Yeah, you don't want to. You got to get you're starting to think about getting yourself in the position to win this thing.
65 laps to go and a pit stop, but they're racing like it's 10 to go.
Well, 65 sounds like a long time, but if you get shuffled back into 15th, 20th place, it can take you a good 20 laps or better to get back up there. So you don't want to fall back right now.
Look at this, 18 cars under a blanket at the front of the field. Denny Hamlin made the move. Ryan Blaney in the 21 pays the price, and now they're all double wide behind the front 4.
Well, here they come down the stretch. 1 to go.
White flag. Martin Truex on the outside. Menard's coming with him.
They'll never make it back.
And Denny Hamlin goes up there. We got one all the way on the apron spinning.
Carl Edwards.
Big wreck.
Nope. And now there's the wreck. 3 cars hard in the wall.
Big wreck in rear. Keep coming.
Casey Mears, Ricky Stenhouse, Jeff Gordon around. Here come the leaders.
We're still green.
No caution.
Still green.
Come on, boys. Bring it to the house.
Menard to the bottom with Blaney. Junior trying to hold everybody off.
Come on, Blaney. You got one more shot. You can do it.
Earnhardt, Johnson, Menard, Blaney. Double wide behind them. 4 cars to settle it. Earnhardt trying to cover all spots. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Checkered flag at Talladega. Johnson second. Menard third. Blaney, Truex the top 5. And 1 car in the wall coming to the line way up in the dust. That was Stenhouse, who's wiped the whole right side off his car on the final lap.
Oh, Junebug, nice job, brother.
I'd say Junior Nation's going to party like it's 1999.
Woohoo! And look at him doing an Alan Kulwicki self-styled Polish victory lap with the window net down, the helmet off, waving to the fans after a great win today.
I cannot put into words how loud the crowd was when Dale Jr. crossed the line to win. It may have not been Gordon, but it was so awesome that I couldn't help but cheer with them. At that point, I didn't care who won. I just witnessed one of the greatest races I have ever seen. Maybe to some, it was nothing compared to some of their favorites, but to be there in person was far different from watching it on TV. I may have not gotten to see my favorite driver win in person, nor would I ever, but I got to cheer wildly with over 150,000 people as we saw his number go to the top of the leaderboard for a few laps. For the first time, I was fully engaged into a race, and it was there that I transferred from an average fan to someone who's fully invested into the sport. Since Talladega, I've been to 5 different races and am about to go to my 7th. And while I've seen barn burners, short tracks, domination, and inaugural races, I believe my first will always be my favorite. So if you've never been to a race in person, or maybe you're thinking of returning to the sport, ask me and I'll always recommend Talladega. Like a storm, time rolls on. Can't hit pause like we just did. Those days in life don't stand out. The life's about those days of will, like rockin' Randall and getting rowdy, shooting Roman candles at the man in the moon till the Alabama sun was breaking. Over Talladega, boys raised up, whiskey in your glass. Here's the turning up, the slowing down, the cars are going real fast. We were laughing and living, drinking and wishing, thinking as that checkered flag was waving. I'd sure like to stay here at Talladega.